It's been 2 weeks since Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe put Tokyo and 6 other prefectures under a state of emergency due to COVID-19. Michio Ishida has taken to the streets of the capital to find out if it's working.
It's a weekday afternoon, but Tokyo's financial district is nearly deserted. On an average day, office workers will be out and about on the streets of Marunouchi. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's target is for people-to-people contact to be reduced by up to 80%. The government has been using data provided by the country's top wireless carrier to track the effectiveness of its emergency measures.
Now let's take a look at the people movement data provided by NTT Docomo, Japan's largest mobile operator, and data which the Japanese government actually monitors. Well, here it shows movement in Shibuya, central Tokyo. Now the blue line indicates the movement of people before the outbreak of COVID-19. That's in January to February.
This green line represents what it was like just a week ago, while the red line reflects the latest foot traffic. NTT Docomo's data indicates that crowds in Shibuya have shrunk by more than 60%. This is what Shibuya looks like 2 weeks after the government put Tokyo under a state of emergency. You can't count even 1,000 in the area, although this is supposed to be its busiest time between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Railway company JR East reported an even bigger drop. It says the crowd at Tokyo Station dropped by 92% from pre-pandemic days, but the thinning out of crowds is not even across Tokyo. Some areas such as Azabujuban, a shopping street inside a high-end residential area, still reported sizable crowds. NTT's data shows that the crowd here is only about a third less than before.
多いよ、ここはいつも多いの。他のところの人いっぱい来るのね、若い人が。
Residents say it's even worse on weekends.
土日とかは割と多い。でももっとお昼時とかは多いですね。
That Japan cannot enforce any binding measures to limit people's movement has to do with its wartime history.
Japan is one of the few countries on the earth whose government doesn't have legal authority to impose mandatory measures to cope with the coronavirus. It is about the legacy of the World War II. Maybe it's more emotional than legalistic. The question is that the people still, many of them feel that they were, or their parents or their grandparents were misled by the Japanese government during the war or before the war. That's why they do not want to be imposed, forced, or whatever to do something against their will.
Wartime memories aside, some Japanese genuinely don't like the idea of their movement being restricted.
自宅から出られなくなったりして友達とか会えなくなったりして
The government will decide later this month whether it will extend the country's state of emergency beyond May 6. Michio Ishida, CNA, Tokyo.